Good evening, and welcome everyone to today's hearing. This is the 6th of 11 virtual budget hearings the city will be hosting this year to introduce the fiscal year 22-23 trial budget. The feedback that we received today and throughout the budget hearing process is extremely important to us as we formulate the proposed budget to present to City Council. The proposed budget will be presented to City Council on May 3rd and voted on May 17th. These hearings will be recorded and streamed on our YouTube channel. For those of you who do not wish to speak today, you can leave a comment at Phoenix.gov/budget. Another way to participate is through the Fund Phoenix interactive budget tool. This interactive tool lets you provide direct feedback on the proposed budget. With that, I'll turn it over to Councilwoman Betty Guardado to say some opening remarks.
Thank you so much, Jeff. And yes, I just wanted to thank everyone for joining this evening and taking interest in our budget process. Every year, the City of Phoenix develops its fiscal budget for the following year. Our finance department will, with the help of our city manager, work diligently to forecast future revenues and potential impacts. This helps all of our city departments to prioritize projects while delivering services and staying fiscally responsible. I'm very excited for everything that's coming up this year, given that we are still coming out of a pandemic. The general fund operating budget is just over $1.6 billion and includes everything from public safety to parks, libraries, and senior services. Most of our budget is already allocated to long-term projects, permanent services, and maintenance. But there is a portion that we need your input to see how we spend it and how we allocate. As our city faces a frightening increase in housing costs, we know we need to act swiftly to address affordability and provide services for those that have seen the worst of it and are without permanent or sufficient housing. This trial budget allocates additional positions to address this crisis and meet the benchmarks laid out in our newly established strategies to address homelessness. Furthermore, we need to begin thinking differently about our response to mental health, and I am excited to continue the rollout of our community assistance program. As we continue to increase services and find ways to add civilian roles in public safety, we will free up police departments to focus on more urgent and violent crimes as we continue to see throughout our city. In addition, I am excited to continue working closely with our streets department and Office of Heat Response and Mitigation to increase our cool corridors and cool pavement program that is very much needed in many parts of the city, especially in District 5. I am glad to see additional resources for Starfish Place, the inclusion of a new immigrant and refugee navigator, which is greatly needed, and investments in our parks department and after-school programs. Lastly, that's something that I'm very excited about. On a public works side, I know many of our Westside Phoenix neighborhoods are struggling with illegal dumping and blight issues. I think that if I would have gotten $1 for every single person that told me that illegal dumping was an issue and they needed to see their alleys gated, I probably would be rich right now. But I believe that now it is time to find ongoing funding to bring our gated alley pilot program out of a pilot phase. I am committed to ensuring we get this done this year, and I'm very excited to be able to talk about ongoing funding for this program. I will now pass it back to our city manager to give the full presentation, and I look forward to hearing everyone's feedback and hoping to be able to answer some questions. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you, Councilwoman Guardado. Before we begin the video tonight, I would like to first introduce our interpreter, Ms. Elsie Duarte. Elsie?
Hello, my name is Elsie Duarte, and along with my colleague Oscar Monroy, we will be serving as interpreters for today's virtual budget audience. I will now introduce myself to our Spanish-speaking audience. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Elsie Duarte y junto con mi colega Oscar Monroy estaremos sirviéndoles hoy como intérpretes en la audiencia virtual del presupuesto operativo. Al momento de hacer un comentario público, de favor les pedimos que hable despacio, con claridad y deténganse después de cada pocas oraciones para interpretarle de la mejor manera posible. Ahora les indicaré cómo acceder la reunión en español. Desde su teléfono llame al 602-666-0783. Introduzca el número de la Junta 2493-203-0860, seguido por el símbolo de número. Nuevamente introduzca el símbolo de número cuando se le solicite el número de identificación o ID de asistente. Gracias.
Thank you, Elsie. We will now next show the budget video highlighting what's in the fiscal year 22-23 trial or proposed budget. Immediately following that video, we will move to speaker comments.
The City of Phoenix trial budget for fiscal year 2022-2023, proposed by the Phoenix City Manager, is ready for public review and comment. A trial budget is a rough draft of the actual budget, estimating how much money and how it will be used for the next fiscal year. How does Phoenix's annual budget work? The city budget is made up of three parts: the general fund, enterprise funds, and special revenue funds. The general fund is made up of general sales tax, property taxes, revenue distributed by the state from income tax, sales and vehicle taxes, and some fines and fees. The general fund supports many of the services our residents, visitors, and businesses have come to expect in Phoenix libraries, parks, senior and youth programs, and police and fire services. Enterprise funds come from departments that only charge the people who use their services directly, like water and sewer, airlines and passengers at Sky Harbor, and trash and recycling customers. Finally, special revenue funds, earmarked for specific purposes, from grants and voter-approved sales taxes dedicated for parks and preserves, transportation, and public safety. That's how Phoenix gets its money. Now, how do we spend it? Phoenix has a long history of public budgeting, giving the community a voice in the future of our city by starting the public involvement much earlier than required. Each year, departments look at what it will take to provide services for the upcoming year, and staff forecast what resources will be available to pay for services. The city manager proposes a trial budget that identifies programs and services that build a better, more inclusive city for all, and will keep the budget balanced. Then we ask for your input at community budget hearings, or by using the Fund Phoenix Interactive Budget tool, or by contacting the city directly to ensure the budget reflects the priorities of our residents and City Council. After receiving your input, the City Council will vote on the budget in May and legally adopt the budget in June each year. The law requires the city's budget to be balanced each year, and this year we are happy to report a projected budget surplus of $76 million. This is thanks to Phoenix's continued strong economy and sound fiscal leadership from the Mayor and City Council. For fiscal year 2022-23, the proposed general fund trial budget includes $21 million to address important needs raised by the council and community, and $55 million in set-asides that could be used for employee compensation, City Council priorities next year or in future years, or if needed, provide for budget flexibility. The $21 million in supplementals for next fiscal year is proposed for City Council and community priority areas, including Focus Area 1, Affordable Housing. $1.5 million is proposed for affordable housing to continue necessary support to low-income residents, such as homelessness prevention and funding for Phoenix Starfish Place, which is dedicated to healing and empowering human trafficking survivors. Focus Area 2, Climate and Sustainability. A proposed $1.3 million to create positions dedicated to climate and sustainability initiatives to achieve the goals of the council-approved Climate Action Plan, and to continue funding for the city's award-winning Cool Pavement program to further help mitigate heat in the city. The funds would also create a position within the city focused on studying the benefits of electric vehicle infrastructure, along with a dedicated Climate Action Plan manager to work toward achieving the goals of the council-approved Climate Action Plan. Focus Area 3, Economic Development, Planning, and Innovation. $1.6 million is proposed to keep Phoenix competitive in the global market. Proposed additions include positions for the Community and Economic Development Department to formalize an international trade program to remain competitive with global markets, enhance marketing opportunities to increase jobs, and resources to target vacant storefronts to create new retail centers. Staffing will also be added to help achieve City Council priority projects, such as transit-oriented development and the Housing Phoenix Plan. Focus Area 4, Historic Preservation and Arts. The city's art collection is in need of refurbishment, and historic buildings need to be protected, which is why the city is proposing $200,000 to invest in historic preservation grants, and to provide increased funding for the Office of Arts and Culture, including arts grants to enhance programming to youth and artists in the community. Focus Area 5, Homelessness, Immigrant, Refugee Support, and Fast Track Cities. $3 million and 17 new positions are proposed to assist the city's growing homeless, immigrant, and refugee populations. The proposed money would help achieve the goals of the council-approved Strategies to Address Homelessness Plan and expand the CARES program that connects individuals to needed services, and a new navigator dedicated to helping immigrants and refugees transitioning into the community, and ongoing funding of $250,000 for the Fast Track Cities initiative. Focus Area 6, Parks and Recreation and Library. To enhance community services, $2.7 million is proposed to the Parks and Recreation Department and the Library Department for enhanced after-school programming at Phoenix after-school centers. Money would also launch a new bookmobile to provide library programming in the Southwest Valley. Focus Area 7, Public Safety and Criminal Justice. $6.3 million is proposed to add more fire sworn personnel to meet minimum staffing requirements. The 19th Avenue Corridor Community Safety and Crime Prevention Plan, and case management support for municipal court to help victims of domestic violence, and new attorney positions for Public Defender's Office for the Veterans and Mental Health Specialty Courts. The proposal also includes using the Phoenix Police Department's existing operating budget to increase the number of civilian positions, allowing sworn personnel to return to the field to respond to calls for service. Focus Area 8, Roadway Safety. Pedestrian and roadway safety is crucial for city streets. $600,000 is proposed to increase annual resources for the City Council-approved Roadway Safety Action Plan. The proposed fiscal year 2022-23 trial budget also includes new positions and needed resources for city enterprise and special revenue funds due to growth and increased demand for services, including additions for aviation, development services, solid waste, transit, and water services. This has been just a taste of what you will find in the 2022-23 City of Phoenix proposed trial budget. More information on the proposed budget is available at our website, Phoenix.gov/budget. We encourage you to use our Fun Phoenix interactive tool to provide input, an interactive budget tool that lets you provide direct feedback on the proposed fiscal year 2022-23 trial budget additions. We hope that you'll review additional details in the Budget Tabloid, available online at Phoenix.gov/budget. Please share your feedback in whatever way works best for you, at one of the virtual community budget hearings, or by email at budget.research@phoenix.gov. You can comment on the city's social media pages at CityofPhoenixAZ on Facebook or Twitter, and use hashtag PHX budget. Or call us at 602-262-4800. The city manager will present his proposed budget for 2022-23 to the Phoenix City Council on May 3rd, 2022. The council's budget decision will take place on May 17th, 2022. Thank you for being part of this important process. We look forward to hearing your ideas for this year's trial budget and the future of Phoenix.
We will now read the hearing conduct statement and then start calling the names of the speakers. Members of the public may speak for up to 2 minutes to comment on the proposed budget. The city code requires speakers to present their comments in a respectful and courteous manner. Profane language, threats, or personal attacks on members of the public, council members, or staff are not allowed. A person who violates these rules will lose the opportunity to continue to speak. The City Council and staff cannot discuss or comment on matters related to pending claims or litigation. Our first speaker is Jeff Spellman, followed by Johnny Sanchez. Jeff, are you on the line? Jeff, are you on the line? Jeff, can you hear us? Discuss or comment on that and claims or litigation. Jeff, can you speak up?
First speaker is followed by Johnson. Jeff, are you on the line?
Our next speaker is Johnny Sanchez, followed by Linda Gillum. Johnny, are you on the line? Johnny is not on the line. Our next speaker is Linda Gillum, followed by Antonia Howard. Linda, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
We can hear you and you may proceed.
Okay. I'd like to talk about the gated alleys. I think that's a wonderful idea because I have an alley that is right off Indian School, and it is often targeted for dumping. And so it's always a mess. However, it's also not being used by trash, therefore it's not being picked up and not getting cleaned either. So there's no bulk pickup, there's no trash bins in there, and it really should be gated at both ends. So that the gated alley program is really important to keep down some of this dumping. Could you hear me?
Yes, we could hear you. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you for listening to me. Appreciate it.
Our next speaker is Antonia Howard, followed by Alexandria Mendoza. Antonia, are you on the line? Antonia is not on the line. Our next speaker is Mary Hill, followed by Ismael Aguayo. Mary, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can, and you may proceed.
Thank you. My name is Mary, and I have been a proud member of the district my entire life. My family actually purchased this home when it was built in 1960, and we have been the only owners of it since. I would like to comment on the gated alley program. When the house was built, we didn't even have fences in our alley. We had oleanders. There was no need for it. But as time goes on, the need is increasing. I hear people speak on illegal dumping. Like Mrs. Guardado said, if she had $1 every time someone brought up illegal dumping. But the situation is far more dire than illegal dumping. My children cannot play in the backyard at times because there are people using drugs in the alley. My daughter was playing in the backyard and someone from the alley threw an empty beer bottle over our fence, splattering glass all over our yard. So the situation is far more dire than illegal dumping, I feel. And we have people constantly in the alley, up and down. At this state, I honestly feel that the alley is welcoming to crime. We have graffiti, we have drug use, we have people actually defecating in the alley. So the need for the gated alley program is far more needed than just for illegal dumping.
Our next speaker is Ismael Aguayo, followed by Angie Hernandez. Ismael, are you on the line?
Ismael Aguayo.
Hello.
Sí,
My name is Ismael Aguayo. Señor Aguayo, le habla la intérprete. Le pido de favor que nada más haga una breve pausa después de cada pocas oraciones para poder interpretarle lo mejor posible. Adelante, señor Aguayo.
Y yo vivo aquí en la 4121 Norte, la 49 Avenida, y tengo muchos problemas, no dejan dormir en la noche, gente que pasa en el callejón a dejar basura y yo ando limpiando mucho y ya me cansé, oiga.
I live on 4121 north of 49th Avenue, and I just want to express all the problems that I'm seeing in the alley. I can't even sleep at night. There's people walking up and down the alley, and there's also a lot of trash, and I'm tired of cleaning it. Adelante, señora Aguayo. ¿Quería continuar?
Sí, y yo reporté a la policía que mi puerta me la cuchillaron ellos y le llamé a la policía y no vinieron. Se fue el señor se fue.
And I also reported to the police my door being vandalized, and the police didn't come on time. And so this person ran away. They got away with it. Adelante, señor.
Sí, y otra cosa, yo estoy en la noche no me dejan dormir, y a mi señora también cada rato despierta, ¿verdad? Que andan los perros en el callejón, ladrando que pasan gente, ¿verdad? Y pues a ver si ponen algo, una malla o no sé qué en la orilla, a que no nos den llave, ¿verdad? Pero que la cierren, por favor.
So, and also to reiterate the problems we're having at night, that we can't sleep. My wife is waking up often to check on the doors because there's always people that we can hear walking up and down the alley. And so I ask you to put a gate, or it could be sealed if you'd like. We don't even have to have a key for it, but we just ask that you do something about it, that you close off the alleys.
Pues yo creo que es todo, oiga.
And that will be it with my comment. Gracias, señora Aguayo.
Sí, y es todo. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank
a
you.
ver si hacen eso. Ojalá.
And I hope you
que
follow
hagan
through
muy
with that.
pronto.
Muchas gracias, señor. Soy la concejal Betty Guardado y estamos escuchando los problemas de los que ustedes están hablando y vamos a tratar de hacer algo sobre esto que está pasando. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Aguayo. We were listening to your comments, and we will do our best to try to help mediate this problem.
Our next speaker is Jeff Spellman, followed by Angie Hernandez. Jeff, are you on the line?
I am on the line. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. You may proceed.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you, Councilwoman Guardado. I appreciate you helping me get in. I was having some technical difficulties here. But this is going to be a good budget year. I know there's never enough to go around for everything, but I think what's been identified in the trial budget is really very good priorities that reflects the community's priorities. For me, one of the biggest challenges in our city right now is the housing crisis and the homeless crisis, people experiencing homelessness on our streets. And we're moving forward in some of those ways, getting some of the smaller pocket shelters approved and located. Today, there was a use permit approved for the one at 28th Street in Washington. So that's great. Project Haven is great. And we're working on others. So we need additional support to support these programs. So I definitely support the budget items related to addressing homelessness issues. The other area that's probably really important to me is parks. I think there's an item in there for some additional park rangers for our neighborhood urban parks. And the only comment I have on that is the rangers are great in our parks, but we really don't have a mechanism to communicate with them. I think what we need is some kind of a phone number, a universal phone number across the city where residents can contact the park rangers and let them know that they're having a problem or an ongoing problem in a particular park. And right now we just don't have that mechanism. So we can add more and more rangers. There will never be enough of them to be everywhere at all times. And I think you're going to count on citizens to be able to be eyes and ears. In order for that to work effectively, we need some mechanism to be able to communicate with them. So I've submitted those comments online as well. But with that, I definitely support the trial budget. I think you've all done a great job. The city manager's done a great job prioritizing items for us. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Angie Hernandez, followed by Kevin Ahern. Angie, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Hello. I live in District 5, and my support would be the Gated Alley pilot program. It's a program that is greatly needed. I agree with your previous caller that mentioned that it's beyond just illegal dumping. Back then when I moved in 2001, that was the only problem that we really had. And I mean, it wasn't often that we had to deal with that, but now we have homeless people living in the alley. We have crime, drugs. I even had a suicide, somebody that committed suicide in the alley, and somebody was raped back there. So it's a lot of it's a gathering for crime, and there's no purpose for the alley. I mean, I witnessed the program just down the streets, like a couple streets north of where I live, and you know, all those problems, they have been solved by the gated alley. They don't have the speeding cars going through there, and you can just see the big difference. And unfortunately, I live south of that, and the alley behind my property is between my house and an apartment complex, and there's just a lot of problems that we have there. And I mean, we've had fires in the middle of the night. We have trash cans that are always being put onto fire and all that. And we've had cars speeding so fast that they run into the gates or the brick walls. You know, I just hope that nobody is in the alley sleeping when somebody decides to speed. So it's just so needed, the program. And I think if the program was extended and all the alleys were closed, then there, you know, money would be less spent on other stuff. Because I have to call Crime Stop all the time, so I'm sure.
Our next speaker is Kevin Ahern, followed by Maria Fritz. Kevin, are you on the line? Kevin is not on the line. Our next speaker is Maria Fritz, followed by Margarita Reyes. Maria, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You may proceed.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Councilwoman Guardado, City Manager, and other city officials. Thank you for holding this community budget meeting. My name is Maria Fritz, and I am a property owner in District 5. I am part of a group of concerned residents in the area of North 43rd Avenue and West Missouri Avenue. We are requesting that 43rd Avenue and West Missouri Avenue be considered for a traffic light to safely allow for traffic to enter and exit our neighborhood and to help reduce the high number of accidents at this location. As a longtime resident, I have personally witnessed many accidents at this intersection, some with very serious injuries and/or death. We have previously reached out to our council office and the streets department, but have been advised of a lack of funding. This intersection has already been evaluated and flagged by the city as highly dangerous and in need of a traffic light, and we feel the urgency to revisit this issue because accidents continue to be a problem. High vehicle speed, high traffic volume, high crash history, and the need for children that cross 43rd Avenue on their way to Sevilla School nearby warrant a traffic light at this location. We kindly request that this area be considered a budget priority as part of your road safety action plan to reduce traffic accidents and improve safety in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Annie Elden, followed by Ismael Morales. Annie, are you on the line?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and you may proceed.
Great, thank you. Honorable Councilwoman Guardado, thank you for holding this meeting to hear the desires of the citizens of our great city of Phoenix and how we would like our tax dollars to be spent. My name is Annie Elden, and I am a resident of District 4 and also a board member for Phoenix Spokespeople, a bicycle nonprofit in Phoenix. Today, I'm speaking on behalf of Phoenix Spokespeople to urge you to raise the amount allocated to the Road Safety Action Plan from $600,000 to $9 million, which is only $5 per resident. This plan upholds Vision Zero, a worldwide movement to have zero deaths on roads. By adding roadway safety projects such as the traffic light mentioned by the previous speaker, wider sidewalks, protected bike lanes, hawk signals, traffic lights, and crosswalks, countless lives and thousands of dollars will be saved on recovering from crashes with cars. Personally, I have been hit by a car while biking home from work. Luckily, the car was going slow enough that I was not hurt and there were no damages. However, if that car had been going even just 5 miles per hour faster, I might not be here today. The thought is terrifying. Therefore, on a personal note, and as a Phoenix Spokespeople board member, I urge you to allocate $9 million to the Road Safety Action Plan to ensure that I and many others will see another day. Something that is often forgotten is the fact that many of the casualties from car crashes are people who are homeless. So I also fully support that more funds go toward creating shelters and homes for the people who are struggling with homelessness. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ismael Morales, followed by Nadine Lauria. Ismael, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
We can hear you.
Can you hear
may
me?
Proceed.
Yes, good evening, Councilwoman Guardado. Good evening to the city staff. My name is Ismael Morales. I sit on the Phoenix Arts and Culture Commission. I'm also serving as the co-chair of the advocacy committee on that commission. First of all, I know Councilwoman Guardado, I thank you for your continued commitment in the arts, especially for the youth. I know last year we had a small conversation last year on the budget hearing, and I hope that that continues today. I am here to thank all of you, including you, for over the past 2 years, and I truly appreciate the support of your support in this trial budget. I am also thankful for the additional $75,000 increase in the grants budget to invest in the arts and culture sector, and an additional $40,000 allocated for public art maintenance. The support you give to Phoenix Arts and Culture makes cultural services available to all Phoenix residents, from youth to seniors. The arts help sustain a healthy cultural workforce, support community healing, of course, with the pandemic, and also with the economic recovery of the city, and assist making Phoenix a great place to live, work, and visit. Also, I want to say that with these additional funds, we can continue to conserve the city's award-winning public art collection and make Phoenix a vibrant hub for creative industries. I am also pleased to have the Office of Arts and Culture Grants program to get $1 million with the additional funds allocated. In the long term, I would like the city to consider moving forward toward the dollar per capita on spending on the arts and culture grant funding annually through capital funds. Other cities with similar population arts grant programs are double what the Phoenix program is currently and what is proposed. I appreciate all your support and over these trying years in getting the arts program to our support. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Nadine Lauria, followed by Stacia Hurst. Nadine, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Hello, City Manager and Council members. Thank you for hearing me today. My name is Nadine Lauria. I'm a Phoenix native and very active community member in D3, and also have the opportunity to work with many community leaders in D5. I'm a member of Hatcher Urban Businesses and also on the North Mountain Village Planning Committee as well. It's very concerning and disappointing to me that more funds were not allocated to the Phoenix Police Department to hire more officers. We absolutely cannot be cutting CAOs and a net squad to just add 24 more patrol officers. This is not a viable solution. Neighborhood groups rely heavily on our CAOs, and we also cannot cut the drug busts that are happening continually. We really need to push hiring more officers for our great city of Phoenix. It would be very helpful to also have more neighborhood specialists. Community members and neighborhood leaders rely heavily on our specialists to do what we do. We have seen a big improvement in crime reduction with the gated alleys that were piloted in Sunny Slope, and it would be great to have the gated alleys increased around Phoenix to increase safety and reduce crime. I personally would really like to see the city and state start to allocate resources and funds to drug education to actually get ahead of this drug epidemic. We can't just always focus on the rehab and damage control end of this drug situation. We will never get ahead of it. Kids are overdosing every day in Phoenix and all around Arizona. I'm in full support of the structured campgrounds and look forward to that actually happening to provide quick relief to so many homeless that are suffering all around our area in D5 and D3, really all over Phoenix. We also need our park rangers, more park rangers, and to patrol the parks much more often in D3 and D5. There are drug deals happening daily in way too many parks. Thank you so much for hearing me today.
Our next speaker is Stacia Hurst, followed by Caroline Lobo. Stacia, are you on the line?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and you may proceed.
Hello, and thank you, City Manager and staff. Thank you, Councilwoman Guardado, for having me. My name is Stacia Hurst. I'm a native Phoenician and a homeowner in District 3. I work for Southwest Airlines at Sky Harbor Airport, and I'm an active community board member with the Phoenix Love Neighborhood Association and Blockwatch, Sunny Slope Village Alliance, and the Phoenix Mountain Preservation Council. I'm addressing you today as a community activist. I do support the trial budget. I would also encourage you to support dedicated funding to our park ranger department, including park ranger patrol abilities, urban ranger groups for enforcement, trail maintenance, and the maintaining of invasive weeds. This is a critical time to increase funding for public safety to protect the natural habitat and prevent fire danger, as well as funding for ranger-led programs education, and collaborative efforts. I support allocating funds for the Phoenix Police Department to be able to attract new employees, compensate their officer work group, and protect their resources. Funding is needed in order to bring back our CAOs, net squads, and bike squads. These are all essential resources that Block Watch groups depend on for transparency, guidance, and support. I support funding for drug education and prevention programs and sex crime education programs. Our neighborhood currently has hundreds of sex offenders living in the community, many on the same blocks as our elementary schools. This oversaturation requires public education, outreach, and protection for our youth. And additionally, I would like to encourage you to support funding for community buildings with area cleanups, lighting, cameras, high visibility crosswalks, and sidewalk repairs. The Sunny Slope Community Center is a voting place for our neighborhood, and none of my neighbors will go there because it's overrun with transients, shopping carts, drugs, human feces, soiled clothes, and open fires. Dangerous and drunk behavior goes on during the day, and the local school bus drops the kids off on the west side of the building. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Caroline Lobo, followed by Ann Ender. Caroline, are you on the line?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and you may proceed.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, City Manager Barton and staff that have worked feverishly to put this budget together. Thank you, Councilwoman Guardado and your staff for your leadership and support. I am Caroline Lobo, resident and business owner in Sunny Slope and also president of the Hub. But I speak today as a resident of Sunny Slope and member of the 27th Avenue Preservation Task Force and have two asks. One is a vision and the second is interim solutions. I had the pleasure of working with my District 5 colleague on City Manager's Homelessness Task Force. The location of future shelters has brought to light that there are fundamental issues in several pockets of our communities, both in District 3, District 5, and in several others. Some of these pockets are overburdened, lack the basic infrastructure of sidewalks, trees, shade, lighting, you name it. Right now, it seems like we are throwing money at the problem as a Band-Aid approach. So I am requesting dedicating planning staff to create a plan for these overburdened communities from the perspective of creating equitable, healthy, and safe communities. How do these communities really stack up against some of our well-to-do communities? Only a great plan, a great research analysis will tell us that. And in the interim, I request continuing to fund our PD and our CAOs, a dedicated staff like our NSD liaison, but dedicated to the business community. We have small and micro businesses in all of our districts, and we need to support them. Thank you so much for listening, and we appreciate your service to our communities.
Our final speaker is Ann Ender.
Good evening, City Manager Barton and Councilwoman Guardado. Thank you for hosting this meeting, and I ditto Caroline's comments and for your leadership. Mr. Barton, your staff has done such a great job, and I completely support this budget, this trial budget as well. I am president of Operation Blue Ribbon, and I work with many of the people you've just heard on various committees, but proudly on the 23rd Avenue and Northern Task Force. This comprehensive budget is great. I mean, there's so many good things in it. It would take a long time to discuss it, but I just want to focus in on public safety, because you've heard many people probably for the last 2 weeks say that we need more funding for specialty teams such as the neighborhood and enforcement teams, the CAOs, and just more officers. But that's the key point, is we've got to do something to be able to attract the best officers, and we need attractive salaries, perhaps post-employment health insurance, to be able to also retain Phoenix finest. We're at a crossroads. Do we want our police department to be a crown jewel it once was, or do we want to become a patrol force such as the city of Chicago has? This also affects our economic development. I mean, how can we expect to attract employers to relocate here without our city having a robust public safety? Last, I'm thankful for the funding for the 19th Avenue Corridor Community Safety Plan, and I strongly support the allocations for these plans and for any technology or anything that will assist our police department to address our public safety. So my hope and my ask is that the funding that has been allocated for our public safety remain there. Thank you.
Councilwoman, I believe we got two speakers back on that were having trouble, so we're going to let them speak as well.
Our next speaker is Johnny Sanchez. Johnny, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
We can hear you and you may proceed.
Yes, I'm talking about trying to get some funding for the project for to lock up or put some gates at our alleys, because we're having a lot of issues with people from outside our district coming and dumping their work, their jobs. They have a construction job and they come do a demolition on a home, and they come and drop off their concrete and buckets of paint and different stuff that's not allowed to be dumped in our alleys. They come dump them and they let us deal with them, and it's a problem. It's a problem that we're having all the time. People come and dump tires. They don't even live here. You know, I've run off people that don't even live in our area or down the street. You know, I get in an argument or whatever, and sometimes I'm afraid they're gonna, you know, use force against me, you know, try to shoot me or something, you know. And so you got to be careful how you talk to people, and then try and be positive and ask them, please don't dump your stuff around here, you know. Go pay the money and do it the right way. You know, we have dumps for that. You know, come in our alleys and just dump and leave your messes here, and let the people that live here deal with it. And you know, it's a problem. And I know that we're trying to get money to fund that program, and I'm all for it. I have neighbors that will go for it too. You know, that's really, you know, I got signs that they've left here, so I can put out there in the alleys and post so they don't dump, but they just tear them down, you know.
Our next speaker is Jesus Cervantes. Jesus, are you on the line?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You may proceed.
Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for having me around. And yeah, I'm all for the gated alleyways. Just last night we had an overdose case in the back alley. The illegal dumping. We had a guy that jumped our fence. One of my neighbors had a guy doing laundry in her pool. The other neighbor had someone just throw a broom on fire into their backyard. So all these, I mean, I feel sorry for the homeless people and stuff, but you know, like, it's not safe, it's not secure for us. My husband and I don't have kids yet, but I can imagine someone with kids, you know, not feeling comfortable letting them out to their backyards. So yeah, if this budget can be passed, that would be great. We had someone try to run us over when we asked them not to dump their trash in the alleyway. So there's a lot of things that need to improve, but I think this would be a great step towards, you know, safer neighborhoods and, you know, maybe better our district, because in reality it's a very nice district that we love it here, but it's just those little things that we need to improve. And I really appreciate the time and, you know, hearing us and, you know, be concerned about what we have to say. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.
That was the final speaker on the line.
Councilwoman Guardado, would you like to close the meeting out?
Yeah, I just had one question. We don't have Kevin on the line. He was someone else that was trying to get on. Not sure if he made it on.
Can we check to see if Kevin Ahern is on the line? He does not appear to be on the line, Councilwoman.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, well, I just want to thank everyone for being here today. I think we hear you loud and clear when it comes to the Gated Alley program. I agree that it should no longer be a pilot program. It's something that the city really needs to invest in this. I am very happy to see, that our city manager has listened to this, and we're hoping to be able to allocate more funding into this. I myself have, as a mom of two young children, a 5-year-old and 11-year-old, that also lives in the heart of Maryville. Like, I understand how important it is to keep our streets safe when it comes to our children, to making sure that they can go out and play in the backyard and that they can feel free within the boundaries of their homes. I totally understand how important that is. I hear it about the park rangers and how important it is for these assets that were made for our children to be able to exercise, for them to be able to relax. I understand 100% when it comes to a lot of these issues. We just installed the 75th hog light on Indian School close to 83rd Avenue. So as a city, we're committed to making sure that we make our streets a lot safer, making sure that we have investment on Vision Zero, and making sure that our streets are a lot more walkable and that we are able to deal with a lot of the heat islands. We've been hearing everyone loud and clear on all of these issues. We're trying our best that we can to be able to fund these programs, but we need you guys we need all of our constituents to continue to call in, let us know what you guys are thinking and what you guys think that as a city we should be doing. But I am very proud for the trial budget that we do have in front of you. Jeff, I want to thank you for all of your hard work and for listening to constituents and for rolling your sleeves up and figuring out how to make sure to stretch out the dollars and make everything happen. Thank you so much as well for making sure that our city is thriving. And with that, I will hand it over to you. And thanks everyone for coming in.
Councilwoman Guardado, thank you very deeply for those kind words, but I also want to thank our community for coming out tonight and participating in this very important process. That concludes our hearing. Thank you, and everyone get home safely.
Bracelet here too, Matt. Can you come in on this bracelet here? Did you make that in this class?
Yes, in an earlier class like this one.
Beautiful. And we have a cross over here too. This is just lovely work using a lot of our Arizona stones, and the turquoise is just